So, my topic is I live in Colorado where everyone is fucking obsessed with hiking and camping. And I don't understand camping at all.
Have you ever done it?
Probably 200 times
Oh,
with my dad
so
growing
what's
up.
your fucking problem?
What the fuck is the point? We've spent our entire thousands of years running away from all this shit to go back to it for a weekend.
I think you summed it up. I mean, like that's not the summary of it, but I think it makes us feel connected to that past.
It's literally for me everything I hate. Like I hate being dirty. I hate being hot. I hate being sweaty. I hate being bored. I hate fishing. Like it's everything. It's like, hey, you want to do everything you hate in one weekend? Not really.
Why would I want to do that? Yeah. So you live in Colorado, which is arguably one of the most beautiful places in the country. I think that if anybody would like camping, it would be somebody out there. Have you gone camping in Colorado?
No, but it looks just like parts of New Mexico. Like it looks identical. I mean, we're right neighbors, so it looks like northern New Mexico. It's so here's the even thing. Like a guy at work the other day was like, "Oh man, I was up hiking. Look at this." And he shows me a picture, and I'm like, "What am I looking at, dude? Look how beautiful this tree is." I'm like, "Dude, there's trees all over my neighborhood. What are you talking about?"
Dude, you're the worst. You're the worst. So you hate nature. That's what you're saying.
So here's my thing is, even like when people go, let's go for a hike, you want to, I'm just like, it's a ridiculous concept. You're like, okay, we're going to walk somewhere. Where are we walking to? Somewhere. What's there? Nothing.
Nothing.
You want to go? No. If you're like, hey, there's this really cool bar at the top of this mountain, fuck yeah, I'll hike with you.
You got a destination in mind. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and I walk more than anyone I know. I will walk from my house to downtown, which is like a 45-minute walk, and then walk around downtown for 2 hours and then walk back. Like I have no problem walking. I just can't wrap my brain around being in the sun, getting sunburned and dirty.
So, all right.
Explain the appeal of it to me.
I'll first of all, I'm with you on hiking. Hiking, I don't understand hiking because you have to carry so much shit on you. Like you're strapping 50 pounds to your back and walking around. And I respect that people do it. To me, the appeal is it's like the idea of survive. It's like vacation survivalism, right? Like I don't believe in the glamping shit. We take a tent, we take our fishing poles, and we go out there and on the water, and we will fish, catch our food, eat the fucking fish, and it's like it helps you in your mind feel like you could, if you needed to survive, you would be able to do it. Now, how true that is debatable, but at least you feel that way.
How true it is not at all. Everyone I know who camps would be like, I'd survive. You're like, yeah, you'd survive with your fishing pole and your your lighter. If the shit went down and you had to run out of your house, you wouldn't survive.
Yeah, for me, and I live in Florida on the Gulf Coast, which, again, a very desirable place to go and do this kind of stuff, outdoorsy shit. You know, we got some of the most beautiful water and sand in the world, and it's so hot, though. That's the difference. Like in Florida, you really are going to just fucking burn out there in the middle of the summertime. And that sucks. No, I 100% don't want to go out in the wilderness and sweat for 3 days straight. But like fall time, it is so nice to go out there and burn a bonfire. Go out there with my wife, who's not a big, she's not typically been a big outdoors person. But we don't take of course we take cell phones now, but we don't take like a lot of the luxury shit that other people will take camping, because that's when I start to question it, is like, if you're taking your living room out into the woods, why don't you just stay at home,
Well, that's the thing, is like the only way I ever enjoyed camping, like when I was a kid, was when I brought my game gear and I could play video games.
No, yeah.
When I was a kid. Which then at the point, it's like, what's the point? I don't. Like chopping wood and starting a fire and all that stuff, I've never found fun. My dad is like mountain man, loves that shit. And I just, like, when I think about it, I think about all the miserable time. I'm also really OCD. And so a place where I can't shower is like a nightmare to me.
Yeah.
It is a worst case scenario where I can't shower every day.
That's like for us, you go and jump in the water, and it's not the same as like really being clean, but you can rinse away the funkiness.
Yeah, that always bothered me too, because that would be, well, also too, like you go into a lake and it's different, stagnant water. It's like
Yeah,
gross to get in there, and you're
yeah.
like go get in the lake, and then you come out and you're like, I stink worse. Like it smelled like dirt and seaweed, and it's disgusting.
I'm trying to think of where I was at in Colorado that I went camping. It was this beautiful, it was called Silverton. And I don't know, it's got to be a tiny little place, very rustic and very nice. And cow pastures and big open fields and all that stuff. But then there's like springs around. So there's like, if I definitely appreciate where you're coming from. It is kind of a ridiculous thing because it was like you said, we've evolved past a need for it. But I think the big appeal is, again, I think there's this psychological element of like getting back to our roots and self-reliance. You know what I mean?
To me, I view it as like someone going, "What are you doing this weekend?" I don't know. Gonna try out some polio. We've worked past this shit. Why are we doing this? I'm such a city person too. I am like, I live close to the city. I like, even in Colorado, people are like, "Oh, don't you move to Colorado for the hiking and rafting?" Fuck no. I moved 2 minutes from downtown. Do you think I moved here to go into the woods? You know, like,
I do. I think I grew up around a bunch of rednecks. I grew up in a very rural area. And I think that it was really big with our group of friends. And when we went camping, we would take, 12 people out there and four-wheelers and big bonfire and just cases of cheap beer. And it was like a way to party out in the woods where you weren't going to get fucked with by anybody. You could do whatever you wanted out there. They would take guns out and fucking shoot them. And like, you could just, it's like you can get rid of all, because by going back, you're like kind of getting rid of all of these laws and restrictions, and you have pretty much freedom to do whatever you want within reason.
see, I understand people who like, I mean, I don't understand it personally for me, but I understand people who want to vacation, not vacation, who want to live in the middle of nowhere in a cabin and be like cut off from humanity. I get it. They want a simpler way of life. Go for it. Do you? But I don't understand wanting all the luxuries and then just wanting to like slum it for a weekend. I just cannot. If I'm gonna
I like
do
that.
That's what you are. You're like, I'm living like a homeless person for this weekend.
Urban
Like
camping. Now that's a different thing. You go out into alleys in the city and you just like sleep on the ground.
you're like, we're gonna scavenge for our food tonight.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm with you on it. Like, I get where you're coming from. I haven't gone camping this year.
There has to be something like this that you just don't understand, that you see people do and you're like, I don't fucking get it.
Oh, dude, I think hiking, I'm almost completely with you on. It's like walking with nowhere to go.
Yeah, I don't like those two things. To me, I'm just like, I can't wrap my brain around. To me, they're the same. They're like, to me, camping is an extended hike.
My dear friend Dan, he has gotten really into hiking. And like, dude, like another big reason why we used to go camping a lot, we would get mushrooms and we'd go have psychedelic experiences in nature and shit, and Dan would go with me on several of these. We'd have these like hallucinogenic experiences out in nature and like really help open up that third eye, give you a little bit of perspective on the world and shit. But now he's super professional. He's got a great job, makes awesome money, and now that he's a wealthy white person living in Seattle, he's decided to take it upon himself to start climbing mountains and going hiking and shit. And I'm like, I will never die from falling off the side of a fucking mountain, because I will never climb a mountain because there's a road probably that goes up to the top of that mountain.
Well, I also think too, for me, like being in Colorado, the people in Colorado, I love the state, but they're annoying as fuck when it comes to camping and hiking. It's like their whole identity is someone who, everyone out here is a runner, even if they're 400 pounds, they can call themselves a runner and a camper. Yeah. And those weird things, I feel like they feel like it's what gives them an identity and a personality.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's almost annoying with it. You're like, okay, I go hiking. You're like, okay, you and every other fucking white person in Colorado, cool.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. You're
Like,
right about that. There is this. It's not like it's not like an elitism to it. It's like an idealized version of yourself. Like when you
there's an elitism out here with it, like the way that people talk about it.
like my original like MySpace profile, when it's like ask you what your interests are, how many people don't put like outdoorsy shit on their like, even if they don't do it, they want to be seen as that kind of person.
I agree with that. That's the thing, is I feel like there's a lot of people who do it once every 2 years. I'm super into outdoors. No, you ain't. I sit on my fucking patio every Sunday all day.
Right.
And guess what? I'm not an outdoorsy person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or they go glamping and they're like, I'm into outdoors. Let me take a picture of this fish that my boyfriend caught and I'm going to put it on my profile.
Yeah.
Like, there is a weird pretension about it in Colorado that drives me up the wall, you know? And I don't know what it is. It's just, like you said, they want this perception of being outdoorsy. And it's a weird perception. Like, I've never met anyone and been like, oh, you're outdoorsy? You're so fucking cool. Like, that's, it's a weird thing to be idolized. I just cannot wrap my brain around it. I've tried. I've done it. Like, I've definitely, people go, think I haven't been camping. I'm like, quite the opposite. Done it a billion times.
Where is your... You hate it? Okay, so if I ask you where your favorite place you've ever gone camping, it would just be the place that you thought sucked less than the other ones.
Yeah, it would be the place where we have the most amenities.
Oh shit. So yeah, there's a place called Fort Pickens out here, and it was built in the French and Indian War, I think, something like that. Somebody check me in the facts if I'm wrong, but like, it's a huge concrete structure where, you know, wars were fought for decades, and it's got a campground out there. And it's really cool because you get to kind of walk among these like really old historic ruins of some shit that happened years ago. And it's a cool place to camp, but I don't like campgrounds that much because I feel like that takes the intimacy away from camping. If there's like plots that are emptied out where there's a plot next to you and a plot next to that, and there's 30 people all camping in the same area, I don't like that shit. I like going off the beaten path.
We've done that a lot too. We've done that a lot as kids, campgrounds. And we're 100% there. I'm like, what's the point? I could just stayed home and sat on my patio and seen other people.
Yeah, that to me, it's like finding a space and going out there and creating your own space is cool.
What you described, the concrete thing in the ruins, that sounds awesome. And I would camp in order to see that. But the camp is like the necessary evil to see the cool thing.
Sure.
Because there's still a destination there. The destination has to be more than dirt and trees because I see dirt and trees everywhere.
Yeah, I see.
And people will be like, and this is a weird tangent. I remember I pissed off people at work because they're like, you don't find beauty in nature. I'm like, I really don't. I know it sounds horrible, but like, cool. There's a mountain there. This building that humans built, that's fucking amazing. When you think like the fact that there's a mountain, I guess it's pretty, but human ingenuity built the skyscraper. To me, that's way more fascinating than anything nature could do.
That's an interesting conceit. I can see that. I mean, it's a different way of appreciating what's around us. And I agree. I think architecture is fucking amazing. You know, the fact that
brilliant.
And that's one of the things that I like about Fort Pickens. I'd have to show you some pictures sometime. It's a cool fucking place. Like Geronimo was held prisoner there before he ended up getting sent off somewhere else. But it's like, go ahead. Oh no, there's a lot of stuff around here. Like there's Coldwater Springs, maybe about an hour drive from here. Vortex, Morrison Springs, one other one I can't think of the name of right now, but they're 68 degrees year round. So we would go in the summertime, bring a big group of friends, have this cold water spring right next to us, cases of beer. We'd go mushroom picking sometimes, you know, there's like cow fields and shit in the area, go and grab a bunch of mushrooms, bring them back. And just like more is something that I'm sentimental about than something that I actively do. I think the last time Victoria and I went camping was probably last year. We all the way through spring, we were like, we got to get out there before it gets hot. It got hot, and now neither of us, we want to get out there in that shit. But when it comes to like September and October, we're definitely going to go somewhere and go camping.
It's weird. I feel like my disappreciation of nature, and even like sometimes my attitude towards animals is really weird. It's because I am so pro-human and pro-humanity. Just like I love people more than anyone I've ever met. Like I genuinely love humans. I think we're just fascinating creatures. And so like I love seeing what we built. I love interacting with people more than would ever love interacting with animals. I'm just such a like human-centric mindset is the type of person I am, that like admittedly I tend to be with nature and stuff. It just doesn't fascinate me as much as anything about humanity. Like humanity to me is what makes the earth great, is us.
I wonder how much nihilism plays a role in me liking camping, because and I love people on a personal level. Like I connect with people individually and I like people, but collectively, like humanity, I have a little more of a grim outlook on.
This is interesting too. Anytime you meet someone who loves dogs, 9 times out of 10 they're like, humanity kind of sucks.
Yeah.
They also don't like kids very often a lot too.
It's fair for me anyways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you notice that, and it's most animal people and nature people I know are kind of, they're kind of nihilistic. They're kind of like, I don't really like humans. I like people individually, but as a species, we suck. And I tend to be the other way. I'm like, humanity's fascinating and people are wonderful. Culture's amazing. And I tend to be the extreme of the other way. Like I think humanity has its downsides, but I think they're small compared to the overwhelmingly good, tendencies. Sure. And I think because of that, sometimes I don't care about the other stuff. Like I'm so culture and human focused that I think that might be where my weirdness about animals and nature almost comes into.
Yeah. I mean, that is definitely a unique take that I would have never even put a correlation to, but I do think there's something to that, is like rejecting society for that small amount of time to be able to go and live free of all of the chains that we've created for ourselves, and not that life is slavery or servitude or something like that.
No, I know what you mean.
But we have built all of these systems that confine us to these routines, and to just totally reject that routine, and to not be beholden to the alarm clock, and not be beholden to your work schedule and all of those things, even if just for a little while. And that's why, like, Victoria will tell you, like, when we go camping, we will plan on going for one day and won't come back till Sunday evening, because once I get out there, I'm like, I don't even want to come back. Like, I just want to check out for good, because there's something about that,
There's something about disconnecting from everything, even little, like I did it little with getting off social media. There's something to be said about that, and that aspect I do get. Even now, if I go on vacations, when we go to vacation, we go to another place in the downtown and we walk everywhere. We don't even rent a car, we stay downtown.
Yeah.
But even then, there's something about that, like phones off, like you gotta just disconnect. And I feel like maybe this is something I can get about camping. Maybe it forces you to 100% disconnect. Unless you bring all of your shit out there with you, back to that glamping thing. And then it's like, it's not to me, that goes against what it is, because to me, that's the core of all of it, is to just be able to get away from the grind, all of these things, again, that we've kind of built for ourselves. And social media, I mean, in a way that does kind of apply that idea of like, no, I'm going to take myself out of this one system that we've put in place, that we kind of like, it becomes such a routine that we think that it's essential, but then really all that's essential is just having some sort of structure to keep the rain from falling on you and be able to like eat, then you can live. And that's cool to me. Granted, I do know it's tourism even into that lifestyle. It's not like we could really do it, but for a couple days we can try.